Om Sadashivasamarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Namo Brahmadibhyo Brahma Vidya Sampradaya Kartribhyo Vamsha Rishibhyo Namo Gurubhyaha. We were looking at the 16th Vakya in the Madhu Brahmanam. So here a story which was told in a previous section where a ritual called Pravargya was revealed by the Veda. There also there is this Madhu Vidya is there as part of an upasana, which is also part of that Pravargya karma, where also you have to meditate on the interdependence of things. But the same thing is presented here to reveal the nature of the Atma, correct? This portion was not revealed before. Okay, the story was there before, and it was also presented or revealed as a part of that karma. But here only that Madhu Vidya has been presented to actually reveal the true nature of oneself as Satyam. So this story itself is an interesting story where Dadyang Muni, he is a Atharvana Rishi. Okay, he knows Atharvana Veda and he knows this Madhu Vidya, which Indra also knows, but he doesn't want any other devas to know. So he has warned this Dadyang Muni that if you teach this to anybody, I will cut your head off. But this Ashwini Kumaras, they are twins. They are very interested to learn this. So they want to learn this from this Muni. And when they approach him, he also wants to teach them because they are so interested. But then he says that Indra has warned me like this. I will teach you if Indra does not behead me. Otherwise, if he beheads me, how am I going to teach you? I cannot teach. Then the Ashwini Kumaras say that you don't worry about that. We'll take care of Indra beheading you because we are the celestial physicians. So what they do, even before this Dadyang Muni starts teaching, they behead him and replace his head with the head of a horse. And then when he starts teaching with the head of the horse, Indra comes to know of that and he comes and beheads the horse head. And then they replace the original head which they had hidden somewhere, they replace it again. And then he teaches with his own head and completes the teaching for them. So this is the story. So this is a very gory story involving a couple of beheadings and all that, correct? Now this story is being recollected by another Rishi. Okay, that's what is shown here also in the Upanishad itself. It says Tad etad rishihi pashyan avochat. So having seen this means this mantra has been revealed to another Rishi about what happened between this Ashwini Kumaras and this Rishi, Dadyang Rishi. So now he is telling to the whole world about what really happened. How did these two Ashwini Kumaras, how did they come to learn this Madhu Vidya? So that Bhashyakara also talks about it here. Tad etad rishihi means tad etad karma. This karma, whatever was seen, whatever happened, Pashyan, okay, means upalabhamanaha. It was he gained knowledge of that. He got it. This Rishihi or Mantraha also. Rishihi can meaning, Rishi means that Rishi himself or this mantra which is being told here also, like that you can take. Our rishis are all mantra drashtas. They are the ones who saw the mantras, correct? To whom the mantras were revealed. So here also, this bhashyam means this incident was revealed to this particular rishi. We don't know who is this rishi. Upanishad simply says that etad rishi. We don't know the name of this rishi. So having this revelation, then he said, Avochate Uktavan, this other rishi is now saying. Now, so what did he say and how did he say? Okay. So Katham, Bhashyakara also asked question, means then Tat, here it's there. Tadvam Nara Sanaye Damsa Ugra Avishkrinomi. So this part Bhashyakara is saying Tat. So this Tat has to be connected with this Damsaha. So that's why he says Tat Damsaha iti Vyavahitena Sambandha. Vyavahita means there is a gap in between, correct? Other words have come. But you have to connect this Tat with this Damsaha. Vam Naraha or Narau Sanaye. These things again are referring to the Ashwini Kumaras. Vam itself is dual case. Okay. So you can see here Bhashyakara will talk about that. Anyway, first he says you connect this Tat with this Damsaha. And then what? Damsa means what? Damsati means normally destroy and all that. It comes in that meaning. Or even biting. The Damsa, Dhams Dhatu is there. And so here actually this Damsa itself is a name of the karma which they did. Whatever they did, correct? They really replaced the head and all that. That whole karma is called Damsa. So Damsa iti karmanaha namadheyam. Like that Bhashyakara says. So tacha Damsaha kim vishishtam. Now what type of karma it is? Okay, what is its speciality or what is its characteristic? Means it is ugram, kruram. It is very cruel act. Okay, it is very ugra. And whatever you did, correct? It was kruram, he says, because they were beheading the head and replacing it with horse head and all that. So who did this? Vam, Yuvayoho, you two people. He Naraha, Narakarau, Nara Akarau. Okay, Ashwinau. So here, these two Ashwinaus, they are in the form of human beings. So he is addressing them because when he is addressing them, they are in the form of human beings in front of him, maybe. So he is addressing them, you two, you did this cruel act, this damsa. And why did they do that? Tacha karma kim nimittam. For what purpose they did? Sanaye. Sanaye means Bhashyakara gives. So Sanaye is there here. So the meaning for this is labhaya, for gaining something, for some gain for themselves. So they desired something so much that they were ready to do cruel things for the sake of that. And Bhashyakara says, even in this world, people do all sorts of cruel things if they are under the spell of their own desires, correct? They sometimes desire becomes greed also. When does desire become greed? Desire becomes greed when you are ready to do adharma. Of course, here we don't say that Ashwini Kumaras, they did some adharma or anything, but they were very, very interested in knowing this Vidya and they were ready to go to any extent to know this. That's what is shown by this particular story. So, Labha Lubdaha hi lokepi kruram karma acharati. Like this, Bhashyakara generally gives a note. He says, those who are interested in gaining something only, if they are so invested in that, even in this world, they are ready to do cruel things. They are ready to do whatever destructive things, correct? And therefore, here also similarly, he says, Tathaiva yetau upalabhyete tathalo yathaloke. So similarly, these two also did like how people do in this loka, in this world. Ashwini Kumaras also did something terrible. Okay. And that I am going to now tell everybody. So that's what Tat. Here it is there. Correct. Avishkrinomi. Ugram Avishkrinomi is there. that Bhashikara, whatever they did, tat avihi. Avihi means prakasham. So I'm going to throw light on that. Krinomi, karomi. Okay. So I'm going to tell everybody, I'm going to shine the light on what you people did. And in fact, it is still now secret. Nobody knows what you really did. So yet rahasi bhavadbhyam kritam. So you people, you both did it in secret. Now I know about that, and I'm going to tell this whole world about that. And what is that? Kim iva iti uchyate. So how am I going to tell this world about whatever you people did? There also there is an analogy is given here. Kim iva, how, in which way I am going to tell this world means tanyatuhu parjanyaha. Tanyatuhu means parjanyaha. So tanyatuhu is there here. Tanyaturna vrishtim, that is there. Tanyatuhu means parjanyaha, cloud. Na here is very interesting. It is not the regular negative particle which we use in Sanskritam, but here the meaning is iva. In the Veda, na can come in the meaning of iva. So Bhashikara puts a note here. Nakarastu uparishtad upachara upamar upamarthiyo upamarthiyaha vede na pratishedarthaha. So when the nakara comes afterwards, okay, later on, then it is in the meaning of upamartha in the Veda, in the meaning of something similar, correct? To show some similarity. It is not in the meaning of pratisheda, in the meaning of negation. And Bhashyakara quotes again from Rig Samhita to establish his point. In the Rig Samhita also, yata ashvam na, like that it is there in the Rigveda Samhita, where the meaning is ashvam iva iti yadyavat. So ashvam na usage is there already in the Rig Samhita, where the meaning is taken as similar to horse, ashvam iva. So like that here also, tanyatuhu na means like the cloud. Okay, and what does the cloud do here? So anyway, so tanyatuhu iva vrishtim, like the cloud gives you vrishti, rain. Like that I am going to show everybody. Okay, parjanyaha vrishtim prakashayati stanayitruadi shabdaihi. Okay, so like the cloud is announcing that it is going to rain by having all these rumbling sounds and all that, correct? When rain clouds come, some noise comes. Of course, thunder, lightning and also are there. But there is a rumbling noise of the cloud. With that, it is indicating. Similarly, I am also going to indicate to this whole world about what you people did. Like the cloud indicates or shows that it is going to rain. Like that, I am going to tell this to everybody. Tadvat aham yuvayoho kruram karma avishkrinomi iti sambandhaha. So that is the connection. So like even the cloud, I am going to now throw light on whatever you people have done, this kruram karma, this terrible act. I am going to disclose it to everybody. Okay, now one person asks a question. Nanu, what is he saying? Ashvinoho, stutyarthau, katam imau mantrau syatam. So the two mantras, 16 and 17, are talking about what this Ashwini Kumaras did. And the act itself is described as kruram, correct? Terrible. Then how can you say that these two mantras are praising the Ashwini Kumaras? Like this one question is asked. In fact, the word krura is really a ninda vachana only. Bhashyakara also accepts that. Or no, okay, he says, the Purvapakshi says, ninda vachano hi imau, he says. Because it says kruram, damsa and all that, or ugram. Ugram is the actual word in the Upanishad, which is kruram. Okay. So this is a ninda vachana, like that. This person is questioning. It is actually not some praiseworthy word which is being used. It is saying this is Ashwini Kumaras did terrible things. So it is actually talking bad about Ashwini Kumara. It is not some praise. Means Bhashyakara says no problem. Naisha doshaha. Stutireva Yesha, he says. This is only praise. Na Ninda Vachana. It is not a Ninda Vachana. It is not actually scolding the Ashwini Kumara or anything like that. There is no Ninda here. Why? Because Yasmat Idrisham api Atikruram karma kurvatoho yuvayoho na loma cha miyate iti na cha atyantik na cha anyat kinchit hiyate eva iti stutau yetau bhavataha. Okay. See, you two are doing this ati kruram karma. It is really kruram karma only, correct? It is not something which is very pleasing or anything. But even after doing that, okay, they did not suffer any effects of doing this kruram karma, correct? If you really do a cruel act or some despicable act, terrible act, you have to suffer the consequences of that. But na loma cha miyate means what? They did not suffer any consequences, bad consequences or anything like that. So in that manner, since they only gained this knowledge by doing this karma, it is really only a praise. It is not something which is like that the Upanishad is actually proscribing them or anything like that, correct? It's not talking something negative about them. So, in fact, Bhashyakara even says, Nindam prashansam hi laukikaha smaranti tata prashansa rupa cha ninda loke prasiddha. So, there is a type of praise where it looks like as though you are actually doing ninda of that person. Okay. So it is as though you are blaming somebody. It looks like you are blaming somebody, but really you are praising. And therefore, there is one more thing also. In Tamil also, we have something called Vanja Pugalchi. Means it looks like you are really praising, but actually you are not praising that person. That is also there. Both are there even in the even in usage in poems and even in regular usage of language. So both are there. Right? Bhashyakara himself says, Tata prashansa rupa cha ninda loke prasiddha. It looks like as though somebody is praising, but really it is ninda. Okay. It is you are not really praising that person actually. You are bringing him down. So that is also there. Both types are there. It looks like a blame, but really it is praise. And it looks like praise, but really you are blaming or you are talking something negative about that particular person. Both are there. So this is not really blame, but it is only praise. And then further what here it is there. Dadyangha, okay, Yan Madhu, Atharvanaha, Vam Ashwasya Shirshna, Prayadim Uvacheti. So that's what Bhashyakara is now commenting on. Dadyang Nama Atharvanaha. So the name of the person is Dadyang, and he is an Atharvanaha, means one who is, he is a Nipuna in Atharvana Veda. Okay. And here this ha is only a particle, it is not really having any meaning. Ha iti anartakaha nipataha, he says. It's just there, it is a particle, it's a filler, that's all. It doesn't have any special meaning here. And that Dadyang Atharvanaha, what did you do? Yan Madhu Kakshyam Atma Jnana Lakshanam Atharvanaha Vam Yuvabhyam Ashwasya Shirshna Shirasa Prayat Im Uvacha Yat Provacha Madhuhu Im iti Anartaka Nipataha again. So both this ha And yad, im is there here. This im also is not having any special meaning. And as I told you, in the Veda, the prefix and the actual verb uvacha can be separated. That is possible in Vedic Sanskrit. In normal Sanskrit, it will always be provacha. But in Veda, the prefix can be there separately. This kind of usage is there. So what he is saying is what? This Madhu, whatever Madhu, which is again Kakshyam, it was taught to them. Atma Jnana Lakshanam. Also it is Atma Jnana Lakshanam. It is characterized by revealing this Atma Jnanam. This Madhu Vidya itself is revealing Atma Jnanam only. This Atharvanaha, Vam, here is Yuvabhyam again. To you too. He taught how Ashwasya Shirshna, Shirasa, with the head of the horse. Okay. And so whatever he taught, that Yat Provacha, that is this Madhu Vidya. Okay. So that's what is said here. And Im is Anartakaha Nipataha, I said. It's a particle which has no meaning really. Then the next mantra also actually is talking about this story only, continuing. And in fact, the first part is similar. In fact, the first part is similar in all the four here. Even the next two also, it is similar. What is that? Is idam vai tan madhu. Okay, same thing is repeated here. Idam vai tan madhu. Dadhyang atharvanaha ashvibhyam uvacha. Tad etad rishihi pashyan avochat. So this part is same. And then what does he say now further? Atharvana. Okay. Atharvanaya ashvino dadhiche ashvyam shiraha pratyayrayatam savam madhu pravochat ritanyatwas anyat ritan rita ritaya twashtram. Okay. Yad dasrau api kakshyam vamiti. So here what it is saying is this Atharvana, Atharvanaya Ashvina. So for this Atharvana Rishi, what did they do? He taught them using this horse head is said here. Now, how did he get this horse head? That only the story continues here. It says that this Dadichi, who is Atharvana, to him, these Ashwini Kumaras, they joined, okay, Pratyayarayata means they joined the head of the horse onto this Dadyang Atharvanaha's body. That's what it says first. This first line is talking about this Ashwini Kumaras fixing the head of the horse. And then with that, he taught them the Madhu Vidya. Savam Madhu Pravocha. Okay, so he taught the Madhu Vidya to them with the head of the horse. So and he did it. Why did he do that? Okay, only to keep his word. Because he has given you the word that he will teach you if Indra doesn't behead him, and if he has a head, he will teach you. So in keeping with his word, okay, Ritaya Pravochat, he actually taught them. And whatever he taught, correct, he taught both things. One is connected to the Twashtram, means it is connected to the sun. That is part of the ritual. The Pravargya ritual also is related to the sun. In fact, Bhashyakara also will make a reference to that. That sun lost his head, it seems. Okay. Based on that only, that Pravargya ritual also is done keeping that in mind. Okay. So sun, here Twashta is actually Adityaha. and Twashtra means something related to Aditya. Okay. And the yajna which you are doing, in that sun's head is lost. Okay, and that became the yajna. Like this, it is there in the Pravargya. That's why this Madhu Vidya was taught to them as part of the ritual yajna, which is related to sun. In that also, sun loses his head in that yajna. In fact, it is said there that sun lost his head and that became the yajna. Because yajna also is fire, correct? And sun's head also must have been fiery. And then in that you do yajna. Like that, there is some imagery associated with that Pravargya. So Madhu Vidya is part of that. Okay. And then also the Dadyang also taught them that Madhu Vidya, which is also related to Atma Jnana, correct? That is the secret part. Okay. So both, he taught them a particular Upasana, and then Madhu Vidya he taught them so that they know their own Atma Swarupa. Both form Kakshyam, both was taught to you by this Dadyang Muni. So that is again recollected. This whole story is recollected in the second mantra also, basically for Stutyartham, for praising this Madhu Vidya itself. So now let us see what Bhashyakara says here. Idam vai tan madhu ityadi purvavat mantrantara pradashanartham. So idam vai tan madhu and all is similar to, already it has been explained. Basically this Brahmana portion, which is the Upanishad, is recollecting whatever was said in the previously, the mantra. Okay. And tata anyaha mantraha tameva akyayikam anusarati sma. And also this mantra is recollecting the story which was said already, which was previously talked about. Okay. So whatever was referred to in the previous Vakya also, and also this mantra also, whatever is going to come here, both of them are actually recollecting the same story between whatever happened between this Dadyang Muni and the Ashwini Kumaras. And here also Atharvanaya, it starts Atharvanaya like that. Atharvana is the Dadyang Nama, the one whose name is Dadyang and who knows Atharvana Veda. Atharvanaha Anyaha Vidyate Ityataha Vishinashti. Okay. Why it is also talking about Atharvanaha and Dadhiche, like that it is said here. And here also Dadyang name was given, correct? Dadyang ha Atharvanaha. Why it is said? Because there are many people who know Atharvana Veda. So Bhashyakara simply says Atharvanaha Anyaha Vidyate iti ataha Vishinashti. So it is qualifying and saying that Dadyang Nama Atharvanaha Tasmai Dadhiche. And fourth case of Dadyang is Dadhiche. Atharvanaya He Ashvinau iti mantra drishaha vachanam. So again this He Ashvinau, he is addressing the whoever is the mantra drashta rishi here. This etad rishihi pashyan avochate, it is said here, correct? That rishi is again addressing the Ashwini Kumaras only. He Ashwini Kumaras. And then what? Ashvyam, Ashvasya Swabhutam. Ashvyam means that which belongs to the horse. So Swabhutam Shiraha, Ashvyam Shiraha means the head which belongs to the horse. Brahmanasya Shirasi Chinne, having cut off this Brahmana's head. Okay. And Ashvasya Sirachitva Idrisham Atikruram Karma Kritva Ashwam Shiraha Brahmanam Peti Airayatam. Okay, Pratyairayatam is there here. Prati Airayatam, it is actually. That's what Bhashyakara shows here. Prati Airayatam. Gamitavantau. So Yuvam, you too, what did you do? You you cut off the head of this Brahmana, and then you brought the head of the Ashwa, and you did this Ati Krura, cruel karma of cutting off the head of the horse, and then that you brought it and fixed it on this Brahmana's body. Okay, so that is what is said here. Ashvyam Shiraha Prati Airayatam. Airayatam means Damitavantam means they brought it and fixed it. Okay. Sacha Atharvanaha Vam Yuvabhyam Tan Madhu Pravochate. So Savam Madhu Pravochate is there. So Sa here is this Atharvanaha, this Datyang Muni. Vam Yuvabhyam, to you too, he taught this Madhu Vidya. And this was anyway already previously also said, correct? Yat Purvam Pratignatam Bhashyakara bhashyami iti. So what did he say? This Madhu Vidya. Okay, and why did he teach this Madhu Vidya to you too? So whatever I initially referred to, I will now be talking about that. And why did he teach also, I am going to say. Okay, that's what Bhashyakar also says here. Sa kimartham evam jivita sandeham aruhya pravochati iti uchate. So why did he say this? Because his whole life was in danger. Correct? Because they beheaded his head and brought a horse's head and set it on his shoulder. And why did he take this risk? All this risk? Because he wanted to keep his word. That's what Bhashyakar also will say here. Okay, he took a risk of losing his life itself. But still, why did he do? Ritayana yat purvam pratignatam satyam tat paripalayitum icchan. So Ritayan means here what? Satyam tat paripalayitum icchan means with him having the desire to keep up with the word which he already gave. Correct? So whatever he initially told them, to make it into Satyam, to make it into a reality, to keep up with his word, for that purpose alone, he taught this, even taking such a great risk. So Jivitadapi hi Satya Dharma Paripalana Gurutara ityetasya lingam etat. So from this, what the Upanishad is teaching you, even your life is not very important. Satya and Dharma are to be protected, to be kept up. Even if you have risk to your life, Satya and Dharma are greater than even your life. Gurutara. It is really greater or heavier than even Satya and Dharma are the most important thing. They are more important than even your one's own life. Okay, Swadharme Nidhanam Shreya, like that, even in Bhagavad Gita also Bhagavan says, even if you die while doing your own dharma, that is Shreyas. That is great, really. Okay. So here also that is indicated here, Lingam Etati, he says, this is the indication to show that Satya and Dharma, protecting Satya and Dharma is more important than one's own life. Okay. Further, what? Kim tan madhu pravochati iti uchate. So, what is that Madhu Vidya which he taught them? That Madhu Vidya is related to sun. That's what Twashtram. Twashta means Adityaha, and Twashtram means Tasya Sambandhi. That which is connected to sun is called Twashtram. So the Madhu Vidya itself is connected to sun. How? Yajnasya Sirachinnam Twashtra Abhavat. So this Twashta or Aditya lost his head, and that became the Yajna. Like this they say. Okay. So this Yajna, whatever they did, in fact here Yajnasya Sirachinnam. Twashtra, sorry, I said the other way around. Whatever yajna was there, you cut the head of that yajna. So I don't really understand what do they mean or what Bhashyakara means by cutting the head of the yajna. That is something is there in that Pravargya ritual, I think. So according to that ritual, yajnasya siraschinnam, the head of the yajna is cut, and then that becomes the Adityaha, Tvashtra Bhavate. So like this it is said. So tat pratisandhanartham pravargyam karma. So the pravargyam karma itself is what it is actually to restore that head. Why do you do this pravargya karma? You are restoring the head which was cut and then that became sun, it seems, Aditya. And you are restoring that pratisandhanartham. And in that pravargya karma, tatra pravargya karma anga bhutam yad vijnanam tat tvashtram madhu. So whatever vijnanam here means basically vidya or upasana. Whatever upasana which is part of that pravargya karma, that is what is called here as tvashtram because it is connected to sun. And that is the madhu vidya which he taught them. Okay, first. Yat tasya chirachedana pratisandhanadi vishayam darshanam tat tvashtram yan madhu. So that's what is said here. Savam madhu pravochat ritayan tvashtram. So that whatever was connected to the pravargya ritual, and again the yajna's head itself was cut, they are saying, and again it has to come back, it has to be restored. Related to that only, whatever Madhu Vidya was there, that was taught by this Dadyang Muni to this Ashwini Kumaras. And he Dasrau iti what? Parabalanam upakshapayitarau shatrunam himsitaro. So Dasrau means what? Dasrau also is used to address this Ashwini Kumaras. And who are this Dasra? Dasrau means what? Those who take away the bala, the strength of the enemies. Shatrunam parabalanam upakshapayitarau. Upakshapayitarau means what? They take the strength of the others. Okay. So they take the strength of the enemies and also destroy the enemies. Shatrunam himsitaro. So they destroy, they kill the enemies. So they are great devas, Ashwini Kumaras. So they are addressed as Dasrau. Apicha na kevalam tvashtram eva madhu karma sambandhi yuvabhyam avochat. Okay, so the Madhu Vidya, which is a upasana as part of the Pravigya karma alone, was not taught by the Rishi to you too, but he also taught something more. That's what Apicha means. Further, na kevalam, not only the Tvashtra, the whatever was related to Aditya and part of that karma and all that, correct? That alone he did not teach, but what? Apicha kakshyam, gopyam, rahasyam. So something which is secret. And what is this secret? Paramatma sambandhi, that which is connected to the Paramatma. Yad vijnanam madhu Brahmanena uktam. So whatever was taught in this Madhu Brahmana, that based on that interdependence only, it was also further shown that anything which is interdependent, mutually dependent is mithya, and they are all dependent on their very existence on the Satyam, which is nothing but Paramatma or one's own Atma. So this is what was revealed by this Madhu Brahmanam, and this also was taught by this Rishi to this Ashwini Kumaras. So Paramatma Sambandhi Yad Vijnanam Madhu Brahmanena Uktam Adhyaya Dvaya Prakashitam Tachavam Yuvabhyam Pravochati iti Anuvartate. So that also was told. This Pravochati you have to take here also. Kakshyam Vam Pravochati, again it will come here. You have to use that here also because there is no verb here. Simply Kakshyam Vam alone is there. That also was taught to you by him, to both of you. Like this. This is the. So these two mantras are only basically they are recollecting whatever the story. And the recollection of the story has been done only to praise this Madhu Vidya, because from the story itself we can understand that to what extent the students went to learn this, and also to what extent the teacher took risk so that he can teach this. That means this Vidya should be something very exalted. That is the idea here. That's how it is praised. Then further what? Idam vai tan madhu dadhyang atharvanaha ashvibhyam uvacha tad etadrishi pashyan avochat. So these two are same. So now exactly what did he teach? The teaching also is summarized here in the next two mantras, and these are all very highly quoted vakyas. Bhashyakara himself quotes it. And so here you see Puraschakre Dvipadaha, Puraschakre Chatushpadaha, Purassa Pakshi Bhutva Puraf Purushaha Avishaditi, Sava Ayam Purushaha Sarvasu Purshu Purishayaha Nainena Kinchana Anavritam Na Yenena Kinchana Asamvritam. So Purishayanat Purushaha, like this we normally say. Okay, the one who is sleeping in the Puri itself is the body. Body mind sense complex is called Puri because it is having, even in Bhagavad Gita and Kathopanishad also, this concept is there, correct? Navadvare Pure Dehi. So this body is a fort which has nine holes. Okay, Navadvara is there. And within this Navadvara, the one who is sleeping is the Purusha, Purishayanat. He is sleeping in the fort with 9 gates. So that Purishayana also is coming here. Purshu, Purishayaha. That's why he is Purushaha, like this. But anyway, so the meaning here is what? Puraschakre Dvipadaha. So this Purusha, this Atma alone, originally he made, or he became beings with 2 feet. Dvipadaha Chakre, he created beings with 2 feet. Then Puraschakre Chatushpadaha, he created beings with 4 legs. Okay. Then what? Puraha sa Pakshi Bhutva, becoming a Pakshi. Here Pakshi is the subtle body. So the physical body or the gross body was created, and then he entered as the subtle body, because the subtle body only has sentience. The gross body does not have sentience by itself. So the same Atma becoming the subtle body, Pakshi here is the subtle body, entered. Pakshi Bhutva Puraha Purushaha Avishat. Avishat, Pravishat means he entered. So this Pravesha Shruti we have discussed a lot already. It came in 1.4 also, correct? 147. If you can go back and see, there is a big bhashya also. So basically the sentiency which is available in each and every being, in the body of each and every being, is not the sentiency of the body itself. The gross body, its nature is not one of awareness or consciousness or anything. That is simply a manifestation. And even for that consciousness to manifest, there has to be a subtle body, there has to be mind. See, only in our tradition, we are talking of 3 things. See, in the West also, they talk about mind, but they are again connecting. In fact, there are material monists, like they call it. Many scientists are material monists. They say that consciousness itself is nothing but something which comes when you bring together different materials. Matter alone is the reality. There is nothing called consciousness really. It is only an epiphenomenon. That is one view is there. And in the West, they call dualist. Dualists are those who believe that mind is separate from the matter. There is something called mind. Okay, those who accept that. But they also say that consciousness is a property of the mind, like that. But our tradition is different. We say that consciousness is a separate entity. In fact, it is the only real entity. Mind also is only like the hot iron rod. It may burn you, correct? It has fire, but really that fire is not, or that heat is not the nature of the hot iron rod. That belongs to only Agni, correct? Fire. Like that, consciousness also is manifest wherever mind is there. The individual consciousness is manifest. Okay, so that's how we look at it. We separate out the mind and consciousness. So the consciousness entered as though we have to put, okay, it really did not enter anywhere. Means it is available for recognition. Wherever the subtle body is there, this consciousness is available for recognition. That's what we say, that it has entered. Because if we say somebody has entered somewhere, you can go and cognize that person there, correct? That is the meaning here. So this consciousness has entered, becoming this Sukma Sharira, and in that Sukma Sharira it is manifest, it is available. And further what? Savayam Purushaha Sarvashu Purshu. Okay, where all did it enter? Means all the bodies. The same consciousness has as though entered all the bodies, like even one sun entered into all the mirrors, all the reflecting media, correct? As the reflection in that. That reflected sun also is having some brightness and all that. So that's what the individual consciousness or awareness is like that. It is like the reflected sun in a reflecting media, but the original unknown really exists. Like that here also, this Savayam Purushaha, the Purusha, Sarvasu Purushu, in all the forts. Pur means really fort, but really here it is the body. In all the bodies of the living beings, he is the one who is there. Purishayaha, who is lying there. Okay. And there is nothing which is not covered by this Purusha. Okay. Nainena kincha anavritam, kinchana anavritam. Anavritam is again, it's all double negative is used here. Nothing is not covered by this Atma. Okay, similarly, Nainena kinchana asamvritam. Okay, asamvritam means nothing is not pervaded also. So both covered and pervaded are used because covered means you may think it is only covering the outside, correct? But asamvritam means not pervaded. Pervaded means in and through. This Atma is in and through everything. It's like the space. Space also is in and through all the things which are there in space. Similarly, this Atma pervades everything. It covers everything and it pervades everything also. Nothing is away from this Atma. And Atma alone is Satyam. Okay. So that is coming out here very clearly. Let us see what Bhashyakara says. Idam vai tan madhu iti purvavat. So these two already we have discussed that. It is like before. Uktau dvau mantrau pravargya sambandhakyayikaha upasamhartarau. So the two mantras before the current one, they are all actually like they recollected the story which happened before, and then that is complete now. Okay, they have completed that story. Now the next two, dvayoho pravargya karmartha yoho adhyaya yoho arthaha akyayika bhutabhyam mantrabhyam prakashitah. So the previous two mantras, whatever was the Madhu Vidya which was talked about in the pravargya karma, in that adhyaya, okay, that was presented in the form of the story. Okay, the story itself was recollected by those two mantras, and it was talking about what happened and it actually brought to light that this Madhu Vidya was also part of that Pravargya karma. Okay, but now the other two are about Brahma Vidya, not about Pravargya or the Upasana which is associated with the Pravargya karma. But the next two mantras are going to be about Brahma Vidya. So Bhashyakara says that Brahma Vidya Arthayoho tu Adhyayoho Arthaha Uttarabhyam Rigbhyam Prakashitavyaha Ityartaha Pravartate. So why does it even now continue? Because it wants to summarize the meaning of the two Brahma Vidya Adhyaya. See, in the Shatapatha Brahmana, the last four Adhyayas are supposed to be one book. That's why Bhashyakara here also keeps saying this is Chaturtha Adhyaya and all. Although in the Brhadaranyaka Upanishad, this is the second Adhyaya. But the last section of the Shatapatha Brahmana, this is the fourth Adhyaya in that section. So in the first two Adhyayas of that Shatapatha Brahmana section, only the Pravargya Karma comes and one Madhu Vidya story and all comes there. And the Upasana, Madhu Vidya Upasana is there. And then this first chapter, second chapter of the Upanishad, they are now revealing the Atma Swarupa, and that also now it wants to complete it, okay, by summarizing that. So that's why these two rigs, the next two mantras, are going to throw light on that. Therefore, it starts. So Brahma Vidyartha Yoho tu Adhyaya Yoho. So the two Adhyayas, the first and second Adhyaya in the Upanishad, they are all revealing the Brahma Vidya, and also to reveal this Brahma Vidya, these two rigs will be, they will be throwing light on that. Therefore, it starts. And again, Yet Kakshyam Cha Madhu, the secret Madhu Vidya. Uktavan Atharvanaha Yuvabhyam iti Uktam Kim Punaha Tan Madhu iti Uchyate. So, what is that secret Madhu Vidya which this Dadyang Atharvanaha he taught you to reveal that only? Now it is being said. What is said? Puras Chakre, Puraha, Purani. Puraha means that old, a very old. Sharirani. Yataha yam avyakrita vyakarana prakriya sa parameshwaraha namarupe avyakrite vyakurvanaha pratamam buradin lokan srishtva chakre kritavan. So Puraha means very long back, means Bhashyakara now connects it with the time when the unmanifest became manifest. Okay, so when the from the unmanifest, okay, Yataha Avyakrita Vyakarana Prakriya. So because there is already in the 147 we saw the Avyakrita became Vyakrita in that only, and then the Pravesha Shruti and all was also there. So the same thing is now talked about here. Puraha here means very old time, means when the at the time when initially the unmanifest started becoming manifest and it became many names and forms, correct? Parameshwara only started becoming the different names and forms by differentiating from the undifferentiated. So Avyakrite Vyakurvanaha Parameshwaraha Namarupe Prathamam. So in the beginning, he became different names and forms, and in that what? Buradin, Lokan Srishtva, having created all the Buhu, Goha, Swaha, etc. Correct? The Lokas, 14 Lokas. And then again Chakre Kritavan, he created. What did he create? Dvipadaha, Dvipad Upalakshitani, Manushya Sharirani, Pakshi Sharirani. So again, those which are characterized by two legs. Who are those? Human beings and birds also. So birds and human beings are the most prominent bipeds, even if you study biology. So that is the Dvipadaha. Tatha Puraha, again Sharirani Chakre, again in the beginning only he created what? Chatushpadaha, Chatushpad Upalakshitani, Pashu Sharirani. So by this Chatushpad, what is being revealed or what is characterized? All the animals. Puraha Purastat, again Puraha means Purastat. Sa Ishwaraha, Pakshi Linga Shariram Bhutva. So Pakshi means, Bhashyakara gives the meaning of Linga Shariram. Linga Shariram means Sukshma Shariram. So becoming the Sukshma Sharira, Puraha Sharirani, Purushaha Avishat. So this Purusha, who is this Atma, Paramatma, Avishat iti asya artham achaste shrutihi. Savayam Purushaha sarvasu Purushu sarva sharireshu Purishayaha. Purishete iti Purishayaha sanna Purushaha iti uchyate. So this Avishate means entered. Now what is the meaning of this entered? That is said by the Shruti itself, like this Bhashyakara says. Okay. So how did he enter? And after entering, what happened? That is said. That meaning of that is said here. So Avishati iti asya artham achaste Shruti. Shruti itself is explaining that. What is that? Savayam Purushaha. Sarvasu Purushu. Sarva Sharireshu Purishayaha. So this Purusha is the one who is now sleeping, who is lying in all the bodies, who is dwelling in all the bodies. So on account of that only he is called Purusha. Okay. So Purishete iti Purushayaha sanna Purushaha iti uchyate. So being the one who is dwelling, who is lying in all these folds which are all physical bodies, that is why he is called Purushaha. Like this Bhashyakara also points out that this is one of the reasons why this Atma also is called Purushaha. And na yenena, nainena, anena, kinchana, kinchidapi, nothing, okay, is anavritam, not covered, anachaditam, achaditam also means covered only. So there is nothing that is not covered by this double negative. Sometimes double negative is more uh, effective in conveying certain ideas. So here also Upanishad is using the double negative. Na anena, na enena, means enena means really anena only. By this Atma, nothing is not covered. Similarly, what tata na enena, kinchana asamvritam. So asamvritam means what? Antaran anupraveshitam. Okay. So antara ananupraveshitam means again asamvritam means ananupraveshitam, that which is not entered or pervaded. So this Atma has not only covered, it has entered into everything also. That's what Bhashyakara. So there is nothing that has not been entered into by this Atma. That is the meaning. Means it pervades everything. That is the idea. Bhahya bhutena, antarbhutena cha, anavritam. So basically there is nothing that has not been covered externally and internally also by this Atma. So in this manner, what evam saeva nama rupatmana antar bahir bhavena karya karana rupena vyavastitaha. So this Atma alone in this manner is there in the form of all the names and forms, in the form of everything which is outside, inside, everywhere, correct? Antar bahir, and in the form of karya and karana also, in the form of the body and also all the sense organs and mind, etc. In all these forms, Atma alone is appearing. Puraschakre ityadi mantraha sankshepataha atma ekatvam achaste iti arthaha. So basically what is this Puraschakre mantra here? It reveals the oneness of this Atma. Atma alone really exists. There is nothing which is away from this Atma. Atma is in and through everything, and this one Atma alone is appearing as all these many beings, whether it is their physical body, subtle body, everything is this Atma alone. That is what is being revealed by this first mantra. The next mantra also is very interesting, that we will see next week. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.
Namaste, Guruji.
Namaste.
Yeah,
Thank you, Guruji.
today morning,
Namaste, Guruji. Bahut dhanyawad. Namaskar.
Happy Ramanavami to all of you.
today morning I was away. I could not listen to you. Later I listened to the YouTube.
Okay.
Because of the 6 qualities of Bhagavan that mentioned very beautifully.
Yeah. Saguna Brahman, yeah. Correct.
Thank you very much.
Oh.
Sri Ramanavami Shubhakankshalu, Guruji.
Yeah.
Namaskar.
Oh.